Welcome to another deep dive. We're tackling George Leonard's mastery today. And it looks like you're really interested in how its ideas can, actually help you succeed, like really succeed long term.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems from your notes that you want to put these ideas to work in your own life.
Yeah.
Less theory, more action, right? So let's get right to it. What are the core concepts of mastery, and how can you use them to make some real changes?
Okay, so the book starts by challenging this idea we have about mastery, that it's about reaching some big final goal, getting a promotion or finally running a marathon or something.
Right. It's like focusing so much on the destination that you kind of miss out on the whole journey, right?
Exactly.
Mastery, on the other hand, is about shifting your perspective. It's about seeing the process itself as the reward.
Yeah.
Think of a baby learning to walk.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care about winning any races. They're just completely fascinated by the act of walking itself. By each tiny step forward.
That's a really great analogy. I remember when my niece was learning to walk, she'd fall down like a million times, but she'd just pop right back up. She never gave up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of spirit Leonard wants us to kind of get back to, He contrasts this natural way of learning with what he calls society's quick fix obsession. We see it everywhere. We're constantly bombarded with these messages promising instant results, lose weight in a week, learn a language in a month, all those kinds of things.
Oh, totally. It's like those get-rich-quick schemes you always hear about. They almost never work.
Right. And this obsession with quick fixes, it actually undermines the whole idea of mastery.
Yeah. Because real mastery, whether it's in business or anything else really, it's built on those long stretches of, dedicated practice, even when you hit those frustrating plateaus.
It's funny, those plateaus, they're actually where the real growth happens.
Yeah.
It's not a sign of failure at all. It's an essential part of the journey. Think about building strength, for example. You don't actually see muscle growth every single day, do you?
Right.
But consistent effort over time, it leads to those visible results.
So how do we actually stay on track with all those quick fix temptations around?
Well, Leonard identifies 3 personality types that often struggle with mastery.
Okay.
Dabblers, obsessives, and hackers.
I like that.
Which one do you think you are?
Ooh, good question.
We've probably all been each of these at some point, I think.
Probably.
Dabblers, they dive in head first with all this enthusiasm. But then when things get tough, they kind of jump ship. Obsessives, they want results like right away. And they get discouraged if it doesn't happen overnight. And then hackers, they're content with just being mediocre, doing the bare minimum.
Oh, I know I've been a dabbler a few times for sure, especially with hobbies and stuff. I'll get super excited about something, go buy all the gear, and then 2 weeks later, I've totally lost interest.
Yeah, it's a common pattern. But mastery, it gives us some insights into how we can actually overcome those tendencies. Leonard outlines 5 key elements for achieving mastery.
Okay, lay it on me.
2 of them are pretty familiar, instruction and practice. But he goes deeper than that. He talks about finding the right teacher, someone who challenges you, pushes you, but also respects your own individual journey.
Right.
Think of legendary coaches, people like John Wooden.
Yeah.
He wasn't just teaching basketball skills. He was also instilling life lessons in his players.
That's so important. And what about practice?
Right. So practice isn't about just mindlessly going through the motions. It's about transforming it into a path, a lifelong pursuit of learning and refinement.
I like that. A path.
Yeah. Think about those martial arts masters who continue training even after they reach, the highest level. They don't see practice as a chore. They see it as a way of life.
Wow. Okay, so what are those other 3 elements?
Well, the next 3 might be a bit less intuitive: surrender, intentionality, and edge control.
Surrender. What does that even mean when it comes to mastery?
Good question. It's not about giving up at all. It's about surrendering to the process. Trusting your teacher, even when their methods seem a little unusual.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like letting go of your ego and just fully embracing the learning experience.
So if my piano teacher tells me to practice scales for hours on end, even if it seems super boring.
Right, exactly. You have to trust that there's a purpose behind it. Surrender is about letting go of the need to be right or look good and just trusting the expertise of your guide. It's powerful. It lets you really absorb knowledge more effectively.
Interesting. And intentionality, what's that all about? Is that where visualization comes in?
Yes. It's all about harnessing the power of your mind to achieve those goals. Jack Nicklaus, he's considered one of the greatest golfers of all time, right?
Yeah.
He used to visualize each shot before he took it, seeing the ball go exactly where he wanted it to.
Wow. It's amazing how many successful people credit visualization, from athletes to, business leaders, all sorts.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what about this edge control? That sounds kind of intense.
It's about knowing your limits and strategically pushing past them. Not recklessly, though. You got to understand when to push and when to pull back.
It's like when you're running and you hit that wall, right?
Right.
Edge control is about knowing how to push through it, but safely and effectively. You don't want to get injured.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot between comfort and challenge.
I see. So those moments when you push your boundaries, that's where the real growth happens.
Exactly. That's where you break through those limitations.
But what about those times when we just hit a slump? Those times when you just want to give up?
Ah, yes. Backslides. They're totally natural.
So what does the book say about them?
Well, Leonard offers 3 strategies to help get you back on track.
Okay, I'm listening.
First, surround yourself with a supportive community.
Like mentors, coaches, friends.
Yep. People who've been there, done that. People who can offer guidance and encouragement.
That finding your tribe.
Exactly. People who understand the challenges and the rewards of this whole mastery journey. It can be incredibly motivating.
That reminds me of all those online communities where people are learning to code or write. It's inspiring to see other people succeed, and it helps to know you're not alone.
Absolutely. The second strategy is to find joy in the practice itself, not just in the end result. Focus on the process.
That one really resonates with me. When I get too focused on the outcome, I get all stressed out. But when I enjoy the process, even the tough parts, it's a lot easier to stay committed.
It's about falling in love with the journey, with those daily rituals and those little victories along the way.
I love that. Okay, and what's the third strategy?
The third strategy is creating rituals to help you stay consistent.
Oh, I like that. Like setting up a dedicated workspace or making your coffee the same way every morning before you get to work.
Exactly. Those rituals, they act like anchors. They signal to your mind and body that it's time to get into that learning zone.
It's all about that structure and consistency, right?
Yeah, right. They're crucial for staying on the path to mastery.
So we've covered a lot already. We've talked about those misconceptions around mastery, the importance of the journey, and those 3 personality types that can really hold us back. Oh, and we also got into those 5 elements of mastery. Even those less obvious ones like surrender and, intentionality and edge control.
Yeah. And we talked about backslides and how to deal with them through community, finding joy in the process, and establishing those rituals.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But there's one more crucial element that Leonard talks about: energy.
Energy. What does that have to do with mastering a skill?
Everything. Think about it. When you have energy, you're more focused, more creative, more resilient. Leonard says we all have this huge reserve of energy inside us, but we block it with negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, unhealthy habits, all of that.
I see.
He suggests 3 ways to tap into that energy: maintaining physical fitness, setting clear priorities, and embracing your commitments.
Okay, I can see how physical fitness plays a role. When I'm exercising regularly, I feel more alert, mentally sharper. But how does that connect to, mastery?
Leonard thinks physical fitness helps us tap into that, childlike energy and sense of exploration.
Mm-hmm.
When we move our bodies, we're shaking things up, both physically and mentally.
Makes sense.
It's like clearing out the cobwebs and making space for those new ideas and insights.
Yeah. Okay, and what about setting priorities?
Setting priorities is about focusing that energy on the things that really matter. You have to identify your most important goals and then, eliminate distractions.
That's a tough one for me. I always feel pulled in a million different directions. How do I actually get better at setting those priorities?
It's a practice. It takes time. Start by, figuring out your core values and goals. Then ask yourself, does this activity, does it align with what's really important to me? If it doesn't, it might be time to let it go.
So it's about making conscious choices about where you direct your energy.
Exactly. Don't let it get wasted on things that don't matter.
Okay. So what about embracing commitments? How does that tie into energy?
When you fully commit to something, you tap into this wellspring of energy and motivation you didn't even know you had. It's like flipping a switch.
I've definitely noticed that. When I'm only half committed to something, I drag my feet, make excuses. But when I make a firm decision and I'm all in, it's like something pushes me forward.
It's like you've unlocked this hidden reserve of willpower and determination. And that's a key to mastery. It's really interesting how Leonard connects all these seemingly different elements, like physical fitness, priorities, commitments, to the idea of mastering a skill. It's not just about practicing the skill. It's about like cultivating a whole lifestyle that supports that mastery.
Yeah, it's like you're creating this perfect environment for growth, both internally and externally. So you're taking care of your physical and mental energy, focusing on what really matters, and aligning your actions with those commitments you've made.
Right. And when you get all of that in sync, amazing things can happen. You tap into this flow state where everything just feels effortless and progress seems to happen naturally.
That reminds me of those times when I get totally absorbed in writing, like hours just disappear. I completely lose track of time because I'm so focused on what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the power of aligning your energy with your purpose. And Leonard takes this even further. He challenges us to apply these mastery principles to even the most ordinary tasks, like washing the dishes.
Dishwashing. Seriously, how can you possibly approach dishwashing with a mastery mindset? It's just so well ordinary.
That's exactly the point. Mastery isn't just for these big important things. It's a way of approaching life in general.
Yeah.
So instead of just rushing through the dishes mindlessly, think about it as a chance to practice.
So instead of just trying to get them clean as fast as possible, I could focus on, making each movement more efficient, more graceful even.
Yeah. Exactly. You could try different techniques, find the best way to hold the sponge or the most comfortable way to stand. You could even turn it into a mindfulness exercise. Focus on the feeling of the water and the soap.
I never thought of it like that. It's like turning a chore into a mini meditation.
Right. And by bringing this awareness and intention to even simple tasks, you cultivate that mindset of continuous improvement, which is really at the heart of mastery.
It's about finding those opportunities for growth everywhere you look.
Exactly. And here's where things get really interesting. Leonard argues that our modern society, with its focus on speed and efficiency, actually works against mastery.
Because it's all about instant gratification, quick fixes, and constantly chasing the next big thing.
Right. We're always being pulled away from the present moment, from that deep satisfaction that comes from immersing ourselves in a process.
We're so focused on the destination that we forget to enjoy the journey itself.
And in doing so, we miss out on the real power of mastery. Because it's not just about learning a skill. It's about developing those qualities like patience, resilience, discipline, and a deep sense of fulfillment.
It's like mastery creates this ripple effect, a positive change that spreads out into every part of your life.
Exactly. So as you think about your own life, what are you truly passionate about? What are you willing to dedicate yourself to learning and improving for years to come? What's your black belt?
That's a great question. It really makes you think about what's important. Maybe it's learning a musical instrument or becoming a really skilled craftsperson, or building a successful business.
Or maybe it's something less tangible,
Mm-hmm.
like mastering the art of communication or building strong relationships or becoming a more effective leader.
There are so many possibilities. And the best part is that the journey itself is the reward.
It's about embracing the entire process, the challenges, the successes, everything. It's about finding joy in the pursuit of excellence and knowing that true mastery isn't a destination, it's an ongoing adventure.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. Find a supportive community, find mentors who inspire you, connect with people who share your passions.
And don't be afraid of those inevitable backslides. They're not failures. They're opportunities to learn and grow.
They remind us that the path to mastery isn't always straightforward. There are going to be twists and turns and detours along the way.
But as long as you stay committed, find joy in what you're doing, and keep moving forward, you'll keep making progress toward your goals.
And who knows what amazing things you'll discover along the way.
This deep dive has really just scratched the surface of all the wisdom and mastery.
We encourage you to really dig into the book and see what resonates with you.
And remember, mastery isn't just for a select few. It's a path open to anyone who wants to learn and grow and become the best version of themselves.
So what are you waiting for? Take on the challenge, embark on that journey, and start your own path to mastery today.
One thing that really stuck with me for mastery was how much Leonard talks about mindset. It's not just about learning a skill. It's like you have to develop a whole different way of thinking.
Yeah.
A way of dealing with those challenges and setbacks.
It's true. He talks about this idea of embracing a beginner's mind. That sense of curiosity and wonder we all had as kids when everything was new and exciting.
It's like letting go of all those preconceived ideas and just seeing things with fresh eyes.
Exactly. And it ties back to that whole idea of surrender we were talking about before.
Right.
Letting go of that need to be the expert, to have all the answers, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to mess up, to learn from your mistakes.
It's about embracing the whole process,
Yeah.
Even the messy parts.
Exactly. And I think that's really where the magic of mastery happens. It's not about reaching some kind of perfect end state. It's about that constant journey of self-discovery and transformation. Becoming more resilient, more adaptable, better equipped to handle whatever life throws at you.
Exactly. And ultimately, I think it's about living a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into mastery, what are some key things you'd like our listener to take away from all this?
Well, I think the most important thing is to remember that mastery isn't a destination. It's a way of life. It's about finding something you're truly passionate about and committing to that journey of learning and growth.
It's about embracing the whole experience, the ups and downs, the challenges and the victories, knowing that each step of the way is an opportunity to learn and grow.
And remember, mastery isn't just for a select few. It's something anyone can achieve if they have the desire to learn and grow and become the best version of themselves.
So we really encourage you to dive deeper into the ideas in mastery and see what speaks to you.
Think about what you're passionate about, what skills you want to develop, what steps you can take right now to start cultivating that mastery mindset.
And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. It's about showing up every day, giving it your all, and embracing the whole journey.
Because when you're on the path to mastery, the journey really does become the reward.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the world of mastery. We hope you found it helpful and inspiring.
And we wish you all the best on your own journey of learning, growth, and mastery.